finding out about it. It's like everybody's finding it. I mean, how many people have flown out to Maya?
Yeah, hello, lady.
I've never flown out to Maya before, so this is my first one.
Oh, I've been out there loads. Oh, sorry, I've been out there a few times. There's an engineer out there.
My stream thinks the streams are working.
I went out there for a community goal once. A bounty community goal.
Oh crap! No.
Which the reward for doing it was like 10 or 13 million or something. And
Well, let's go fly.
Funny thing about the community gold. Have you guys actually looked at community goals and read the community gold? The latest one, I mean, not that one where you go the Jakku station, the new one. Alright, so you guys that have not read it, basically what it is, Nani, Helen, or Clotty, some of us has actually gone out to do the community goal. The one requirement where you have to mine these materials to take back to the space station, and they're going to refine these materials to put on space probes to send to the unknown space. And they actually made the comment about the so-called alien wrecked city. This, that, and all. We're not alone. We need to find out more information. So we're going to make these space probes and send them to the unknown to find out where they all are. So I found that interesting that we got the alien ship introducing us. People are doing the community goal, mining for this material to build these probes in the unknown space.
I wonder how much of the new was it 2.203 patch is it? If they're gonna have some more alien content patched into that as well, that we'll find out after it comes out.
I think most of that is to do with ship balancing. Well, they said it was, but I'm wondering. Yeah, but it's none of that stuff is. Or the alien ships aren't part of the new patch in beta. Nobody's seen them in beta as far as I know.
Just to let you guys know, I am live streaming, so I'm about to share in about 2 seconds. But I am live streaming. Hidden Denial, by the way.
And I'm heading back to the bubble.
I'm heading out towards mine now without anything on the ship. See what turns up.
Everyone should be probed at least once.
Ooh, thank you.
I'm just reading this article about the White House having a apocalyptic asteroid plan just in case. That's the title of the article. The White House has an apocalyptic asteroid plan just in case.
Bill Clinton was asked about Area 51. President Bill. Anyway, or Clinton rather, and he basically laughed it off and said, "Oh, something's going on there. I don't think I'm allowed to talk about it." So
yeah, that's never really been.
He's such an idiot though. Like he's just such an idiot of a guy, really.
Well, Clinton,
dude, all politicians are idiots.
I mean, I love Clinton's comments. I never inhaled, but I never inhaled. But I thought it was a brilliant get out clause. It just flattened everybody on the whole thing, and everybody knew exactly what he did. Anyone that takes marijuana and doesn't inhale is they're pretty fucking stupid, really, and they'll never be given a split again.
Anyway, I was about to make a joke, and then you guys started talking about Bill Clinton. And I'm like, God damn it! Why can't I just finish a joke?
Well, speaking of the joke, there's someone that shared on one of my rocker channels that I follow. You got Sammy Hagar. He's 69. He is looking healthy as can be. About to go on tour. He's had plenty of sex, plenty of drugs, plenty of booze, plenty of everything out. Drove plenty of fast cars. I don't think he's wrecked any, but he drove plenty of fast cars. Then you got Bill Clinton, who's also 69, and I swear to God, he looks like a zombie.
Maybe he ate too much bath salts.
Exactly.
And then he's gonna be like, "Oh, Hillary, Hillary." Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, I am Hidden Denial. It has been rumored.
We're taking out the Maya right now.
Bill Clinton, beware of Hillary's mouth. Don't let that anywhere near your penis. She'll bite it off.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. So, okay. What the fuck? Where was the joke?
So, ladies and gentlemen,
Pretty good.
it
Oh,
has
yeah,
been,
okay. So, the White House has an
advised that
apocalyptic
you
asteroid
get
plan, just in case.
Maya,
This is the problem when you make
alien
articles,
abductions are happening. The
put a
people
title
who
on an
are
article
down
like
here.
this.
And if you look,
So, you could draw the conclusion that their contingency plan for an apocalyptic asteroid would be to redirect it to China or Russia.
Yeah, there's the solution.
Let the heavens rain down on our enemies, and then we shall.
Better be fucking gone now. But my bounties better be But my bounties better be fucking gone. I was taken out of Super Cruise and killed by a bounty hunter. It better be fucking removed.
You know what's weird though, is
think it
especially
is.
with Australia and Russia. This happened in the last couple of years, right? So Russia stopped buying Australian
Fucking hell,
uranium.
it's not removed. Fuck you.
Why did Russia stop buying Australian uranium?
Dormant bounties can
They
fucking
couldn't, because
kiss
they
my
couldn't
ass.
afford it, basically. They
What?
couldn't afford the nuclear program anymore. They
Why
basically
do we
winding
have
it
to
down.
have?
They got massive amounts of stockpiles.
Why do we have
Right.
to have? Why do we have to have dormant bounties in this fucking game?
I think that's the
no,
reason.
fucking
It's
sense.
ridiculous.
It
I
seems
mean, if
strange
you
that
die, obviously you shouldn't have bounty on you anymore. But whatever.
it is interesting the fact that Australia is one of these countries that states that we don't like nuclear ships, we won't allow any nuclear vessels in nuclear ships or whatever in our
No,
country
that's New
whatsoever in our
Zealand.
docks. But you're one of the
No,
biggest producers
that's
of
New Zealand. That's New
Is
Zealand.
it? Oh.
They're the one. Yeah, they're the ones that don't like. They don't. They're like they're the Greenpeace capital of the world. They don't allow any nuclear ships going into there. And yeah, it's New Zealand, not us.
Oh,
We
that's
actually,
true.
there's quite a big movement here, and even start to get traction in with the politics as well of actually having nuclear power plants being made here, but it's still a long way off. We've still got a lot of people to convince, and
I mean, Australia is an ideal country for it because you've got such a vast area of land which is technically
Exactly.
unlivable in. I mean, Britain's going to go nuclear basically dependent in the next 20 years. France is already
exactly.
80%. France is already at least, I think it was 70 or 80%
and it's a
nuclear
very
dependent.
clean energy. Yeah,
Oh,
other
yeah.
than the waste, it's actually a very clean energy. So I don't understand why
The
people
waste
say
is quite
people-
small as well.
Especially
Exactly,
when you
and you
include
know what?
thorium in the
Australia-
process.
I mean,
Well, there's that as well.
I mean, Sellafield was one of the nuclear reprocessing sites for most of Europe, and we were having all sorts of stuff stuck over. I mean, the problem was that at the time we stockpiled a lot of it and never got round and haven't quite sorted out ways of doing it. The government's never really put enough money into the whole thing to do it. We got a lot of barrels sitting there underwater in water tanks, basically degrading and coming apart. This stuff we've got to redo. But the other problem is people are complaining is, because you can refine this and use it to make nuclear weapons out of it. Yeah, you could, but we've already got enough nuclear weapons. We don't need any more.
But when you use thorium in the process, it's impossible to make nuclear weapons with it.
Well, yeah, it's depleted uranium or whatever, stuff like that. You can reprocess it to, I mean, a lot of stuff's reprocessed and turned back into fuel rods. Well,
But Australia is an absolute ideal place to be completely to really manage the whole nuclear life cycle. We've got like 40% of the reserves in the world.
Yep.
We've got we're the most stable tectonic plate on the planet.
Which is
we've
useful,
got
we don't have to
vast
worry about
tracts-
anything.
Yeah, exactly. We've got vast tracts of unlivable and uninhabited desert where we could store the waste. And we could reprocess it as well. I'm telling you, we could be like the nuclear powerhouse of the world, but we just don't have the vision in our politics right now.
But at the moment, you don't know. I think it's a case of it's needs must. I mean, the fact that you don't need to, so you haven't done it.
Right.
Which
Do you
country
really
doesn't need to be a powerhouse? Which country doesn't need more money?
Yeah, I know, but all right. Say you built. Say they take 5 years to build. You've got existing power stations now producing electricity. You don't import any electricity, do you?
Well, no, we're actually having a lot of our coal-fired power plants closing down. So we are.
So it's something that's going to come in.
Yes, we do need to start looking at it.
So you've got a choice: do you build coal-fired power stations, or do you build a more modern? Don't forget, Britain's nuclear power stations are really old.
You build more coal-fired power stations because fuck
User
China.
disconnected from your channel.
You know what I would think would be rather interesting?
Just so you guys know, just in case you weren't aware, but Australia, if we didn't actually sell all our coal off to China, if we just kept the coal for ourselves, we'd have enough coal to run Australia for the next 1,000 years.
So, do you really? The whole thing comes down to: do you want to have this supposed clean energy of coal-fired power, of nuclear power, which has its downside, which is politically bad, or the fact that you've got so much coal that you can pretty much have electricity for free?
Okay,
Correct.
So it's down to the environment.
Here's the downside for both problems, right? So, on one hand, you're dumping a bunch of pollutants into the air, and eventually, at some point in the future, your citizens won't be able to breathe. On the other hand, you're generating waste that you will eventually run out of space to store it in.
Well, I have a counter argument for both of those things. Number one, Australia is the size of America, and yet we only have 23 million people. Literally, the middle of it is completely uninhabited. So we have the space for the nuclear waste, no problem.
Yeah,
and number two,
eventually,
I take exception to you saying that if we burn coal, we make our air unbreathable, because I'm, for one, don't think that carbon dioxide is actually a pollutant.
Well, I think the other thing is, don't forget, for the size of country you are, your population, the amount of greenhouse gases you're producing is negligible.
Is zero, basically.
Yeah,
they say 23 million. That is.
They say per capita. They say per capita. We do about second to the US, but it's like no.
That doesn't matter. Yeah.
It's kind of a non.
Your energy usage probably per head of population is probably equal, probably getting close to what they have in America. But you've got such a vast area of land, and it's so spread out, so the pollutions you're putting into the atmosphere are great in comparison. What's the Australian population is what the same as England?
23 million.
I don't know. I think England's 50. I think so.
I think when it comes down to it, you have to look at the larger issue of, is it right to dump pollutants into the air that will eventually thicken up the atmosphere and turn us into a fucking Venus? Or...
But I don't agree with that, and the science isn't there whether you want to say it is or isn't. But carbon dioxide is not a pollutant and does not cause global warming. Other shit does. There's a lot of other pollutions that we do put into the air that I really don't like and we should be addressing, but carbon dioxide is not one of them.
Carbon dioxide is one of the largest greenhouse pollutants in the world. It is one of the greatest polluting gases for global warming greenhouse gases. Whether it's actually whether the carbon dioxide that you are putting into the atmosphere is actually causing global warming or not, most of the scientific faculty is saying yes, but I haven't. But to be honest, there is a larger.
I think
we know putting a lot of other shit into the atmosphere that is causing problems.
Have y'all guys watched the show on Sci-Fi called The Expanse?
Yes, we watched that. It's really good.
Yeah, it's coming out February 3rd, and kind of talking with you guys and thinking about the so-called economy and just everything else and all. It's kind of interesting. That's what touched these 100, 200 years ahead of us. If we're dealing with it now, what happens going 200 years from now when we finally get to that stage?
Well,
I like the idea that they have in there how we have to go to the planets to mine water and air and everything else.
But, the interesting thing about that is that when you are mining resources in the solar system, you are having to make your own ecosystem and keep it in balance. On Earth, we are so freaking wasteful that we don't think about keeping our ecosystem in balance. We're just like, oh, it's cheaper to do this, therefore it must be right. Okay, so think about this, genius. Not you, but... when down the road, like 300 or 400 years into the future, when everyone, having their own little special snowflake idea about how little impact this substance or that substance had on the environment, but when you were ignoring the problem and you weren't following the scientific method and you weren't actually, letting your scientists do their fucking job and tell you how you should develop your power systems, 300 or 400 years into the future, or maybe even 200, when your environment is literally unlivable, it's your damn fault. You know what I mean?
I have a question. I have a follow-up question. Back when there were dinosaurs, we all know that the carbon dioxide level was like 10 times higher than it is now. Yet they had those huge dinosaurs living, breathing, surviving that actually couldn't live now because we're in a carbon dioxide starved environment. Why? The question I have is, why is carbon dioxide being picked on?
I think it's based on the fact that if the carbon dioxide levels go back to the level they were during the times of the dinosaurs, we'd be in the shit.
yeah, we wouldn't be able to survive in the natural environment.
Why not?
Because our body has developed.
Oh yeah, but our whole ecosystem around us would fall apart. It's not just us, because we are quite adaptable. But the thing is, the plants that we live on would struggle.
No, not at all. Carbon dioxide is for plant food. Back in the days of the dinosaurs, have you seen the bloody how big the plants were?
It's not just the thing is, it's not just that it's the rest of the ecosystem that would muck up, because they increase the carbon dioxide, it raised the average temperature of the Earth as well, which means the Earth temperature is higher, which means it changed the whole natural balance.
Which also means that, you know, with the rise of carbon dioxide, you could be creating more algae in the water, right?
Yeah, but don't forget, there's the other thing. I mean, where did man originally come from?
Well, we evolved from some kind of mammal.
No. The first human came from Africa, correct?
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah.
Right. Now, at that time, Africa was a green, luscious area. If you go back to it now, it's not green and luscious. It's a desert wasteland.
Exactly.
So
we need more carbon dioxide?
Listen, sub-Saharan Africa isn't a desert wasteland. It's a beautiful lush area.
Well, yeah, certain parts of Africa aren't. If you look at the area that man originally came from, it's nowhere near the same sort of area or land that it was in the time that man started walking out of Africa.
The point is that we tend to.
Did you also know that recently? If you have, you can look this up. As in, only in the last couple of years.
I sexually identify as a Maasai, and I don't take kindly to people assuming my country's state.
Okay. The actual plants are green because of the elevated carbon dioxide in the air. The Earth is actually greening up, including around Sahara and all those kind of places as well. Carbon dioxide is food for plants. We want more carbon dioxide.
It's all the heavy metal pollutants that come out of the power plants.
That is the problem. There are certainly a lot of other pollutants that we really should be taking care of, but carbon dioxide isn't one of them. Now, and the question is, why pick on carbon dioxide? You know why? Because it's easy to measure and you can tax it.
Yep. I mean, the big downside everyone says about nuclear power plants, I mean, they are a lot safer than they used to be. I mean, if you think about Sellafield, which is the world's first ever nuclear power station, that really was really fucking terrible.
Forgetting one very important factor in all of this, carbon dioxide bonds with other things.
Yeah, it does soak up. It is so
when you have a higher level of carbon dioxide, you can potentially be creating some very harmful substances in the environment and raising the seawater acidity level, which is actually occurring.
So it's not just the plants; it's all the other ecosystems that make it up. I mean, it doesn't matter if it happens slowly, but it's the problem is if it happens quickly, and the other species can't naturally evolve. I mean, the human species is fine because we are probably not going to evolve much past what we are now because we use technology to overcome our shortfall in sort of genetically modifying, i.e. changing from humans, i.e. like Homo sapiens or whatever, where other animals don't have that opportunity, so they tend to have to naturally. And if it happens too quickly, they won't be able to adapt.
Yeah, it is true. I mean, we have the capacity for self-directed evolution. But beyond that, I mean, when you look at the simple chemical, the idea of chemistry, and this is why chemistry is so important, if you understand the fundamentals of chemistry, you realize just how very serious it is to be polluting the environment. With carbon dioxide, with sulfuric acid, with whatever, because at some point, all of this stuff adds up to a very big thing, and that big thing is not good. And it does add up to a big thing. Whether people say it does or it doesn't, it's not scientific if they say it doesn't. If you don't have chemical or knowledge of chemistry, and you want to make a statement that we are not affecting our environment, you need to study chemistry so that you can understand that we are actually doing that.
Well, here's my theory, why they're picking on carbon dioxide. Because as I said, carbon dioxide is plant food, and we've had lots, like 10 times more than we've got now.
The reason that they're picking on carbon dioxide is that it bonds with other things. Carbon itself bonds with so many things that unless you really understand the hierarchy of how it bonds with other things, then you wouldn't see how toxic things
I'm pretty sure carbon dioxide
as a result of carbon dioxide levels raising. Now, it is true that plants absorb a lot of carbon dioxide, but when you get above a certain threshold, there's
just more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So I think that
you know what that threshold is, though. Did you know in if you talk to any horticulturist, did you know that they pump carbon dioxide into their greenhouses to the levels of 4 times what it is in the natural atmosphere? And they do that to make the plants grow fast and thicker and lusher and all that stuff. 4 times standard level. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know about that. That's what the science was showing now. They're building that Mars house, whatever. They're going to try to build on Mars.
Yeah, that's
with Mars is that your atmosphere is so thin that it's going to take a while for plants to start growing. The other thing
is also 98% carbon dioxide. That's too much.
I mean, the whole thing about Mars, it would be very great if the atmosphere was very, very high in carbon dioxide, but the air pressure was roughly the same as it was on Earth, then you'd be, okay, it's a livable area because we can build domes, because we haven't got to worry, but the problem is we've got to live with the pressure differential, and the pressure differential is the biggest engineering hurdle we've got to overcome.
Right, and then there's the other problem, is that
you create an artificial field with nuclear power stations.
Yeah, you're never going to build one big enough for the planet.
No, you would. You'd build one big enough.
Okay, Mars. Guys, Mars. The most thing to remember about Mars is that it is not geologically active. It has no move large enough to create tidal forces large enough to keep the core molten, which is necessary to create magnetic fields, which are necessary to keep the atmosphere on the damn planet.
Well, really? The solar wind. I
thought gravity did that.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Ah, there you go.
The magnetosphere actually keeps the upper atmospheric layers in check. They actually keep them on the planet.
Yeah, it's basically what comes off the sun blow off all of Mars's atmosphere. Also, it also protects us from vast amounts of radiation and solar flares.
Right. Yeah, well, Elon Musk has been putting out ideas out there in order to sort of have an idea of how to create a magnetic field for that very thing.
To do it on planet scales would be absolutely phenomenal. I mean, Mars.
Just selling you away.
Probably have it on Mars.
Do you need a black market? Sorry, ED related question. To sell you away, do you need the black market?
Not always. No.
Just UA bomb the station instead.
Yeah, but you still need a black market. I thought I didn't think you can sell it anywhere.
UA bomb the station until they decide to erect a black market. Until you have a black market, you will get UA bombed.
Anus hasn't been peppered yet.
The other interesting thing is trying to live on Mars. The fact that it's because it's a smaller planet and the gravity is low, that you'd basically suffer from the same problems you do in space, not to the same extent, but to some extent.
I think you would probably evolve to adapt to the planet after a while, but the thing is that you wouldn't want to try to change the environment of Mars because that is just so energy expensive and pointless, because eventually the atmosphere is just going to blow off again. But if you want to live on Mars, and Mars has a lot of resources that can sustain human life, provided that we bring some materials with us, right? I mean, you bring nothing with you and go to Mars, you can't expect to survive. You just don't have enough to do anything.
You need a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, you need some tools. You need some material to make Mars livable, but you have to accept the fact that unless you want to spend more money than the human race actually has to convert a dead planet into a living planet and it's just going to go dead again, just live in domes.
Mind you, the strange thing is that what is the cost of for humans to go and live on Mars?
I think
when it comes down to it, what is the cost of anything?
The cost of setting up the infrastructure is probably large, but it's not so large that you're terraforming an entire planet that is not going to stay terraformed.
Yeah, I was going the other way. I was saying that the cost of actually putting a man on the moon, you could say it costs X amounts of millions of dollars. But in effect, what really is that? It's just a case of the will to do it.
They reckon per astronaut in NASA, if NASA was doing it, it'd be $10 billion. If it was a private endeavor,
I know what you're saying, Arsene.
SpaceX, it'd be like he basically wants to get it below 100,000.
There is the whole other side of it is the fact that the money that they reckoned, the finances worked out at the time, for every single dollar they put into the American space program, they got back $4 in the economy.
This is, I can see where you're going, and I could see a potential solution to terraforming Mars. And one of those expensive projects would involve towing a moon out of the orbit of one of the gas giants and towing it into orbit around Mars.
I know, wow. Have you ever
would that
watched...
actually malt the core, though?
Okay, have you ever watched have you ever played Kerbal Space Program?
What's up?
Yeah, date 1999. Let's just blow the moon away. Date 1999.
Okay, there's a bit in that. There's a video that a guy called Scott Manley did, and he explains what it would take to move the smallest moon in Kerbal Universe and move it out of its orbit. I mean, you can't actually physically do it. It's not allowed to do it in the game because all the planets and moons are on rails. But to physically move an object like the smallest moon and actually calculate its mass and how much energy it would actually take is absolutely phenomenal.
It's a hilarious amount of energy.
Yeah, it is.
I agree.
I mean, it works out that if you want to make an object the size of a football travel faster than the speed of light, using, or even get to sort of like 98% of the 99%, say 90% of the speed of light, it would take roughly almost all the matter in our entire universe.
You know what I think it's going to end up being, though? We are going to end up figuring out some weird shit about dark matter and dark energy, and we're going to be using some kind of gravity well fields that are relatively easy to construct at some point in the future. I know, this sounds really ridiculous, but at some point, I'm just making a silly bet, not a bet, but a prediction. Silly prediction that at some point, despite all logic saying otherwise, we will find some kind of loophole that will allow us to manipulate gravity wells and space-time in such a way that it will actually be easier to transport a moon into orbit around another planet in the first stages of a terraforming process.
Well, it's the same sort of obvious thing. It's like turning around and saying
do you guys
if you've got a railway system, it's cheaper to move grain around for farming. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, the reason why I bring that up, Popular Science, about 2 months ago, NASA's Hubble telescope, I believe it was looking at one of the largest black holes, and we all assumed, theory-wise, that if something goes into a black hole, you'll never see it again. It's destroyed by the sheer effect of the black hole. But like 2 months ago, we actually saw some sort of, I don't know if it was like an asteroid or something, but something actually coming back out of the black hole and flying away from the black hole like nothing was going on.
Well, there is the what's called the Schwarzkopf barrier, which basically states that anything, the gravity well at that point get heavy enough for photons to be pulled in. So at that point, if you point a torch outwards, the light will actually go out. If you turn to a slight angle, you could actually get light actually going around in a complete ring around the outside of the black hole. But the other thing is that with a black hole, it has Newtonian physics. There was a video that I know that Scott Manley also did actually that it does explain it. But it depends how close you get to the Schwarzkopf. If you get close to the edge of it, you go on 2 things. If it's slightly different, you're actually going to fall into the black hole. If it's not on the edge, you're then going to fly off into infinity.
Right. And that makes sense. I mean, it's a giant gravity well, essentially.
Yeah, but the other thing is, don't forget that black holes also do eject an awful lot of radiation. Whether that comes from within the Schwarzkopf area or whereabouts it comes from, I don't know. But I know that black holes do generate an awful lot of radiation.
Yeah, it's not really proven where it comes from. If it comes from the core, or whether it's actually a result of the accretion disk, is kind of up for debate.
As I said, but supposedly this black hole that you can't get out, but it's ejecting this whole great jet. What's that radiation?
Okay,
is that a particle?
Bring this conversation back to ED. Who feels that if you go into a black hole, you should be destroyed?
Yes.
That's the theory. Because the pressure is
honestly,
so strong, it crushes you. That's the theory.
It should spaghettify you.
We don't
depending on
know
the size of the
enough
black hole.
about black holes to really make a statement one way or the other. We just know they exist and that they have some really
But in this
interesting
game-
properties, and they probably would crush you under most circumstances, but we don't know the edge cases. So,
Well,
But
eh.
what
depends-
this
I
game
know, but it
does
depends on the
instead
black
allows
holes.
you to fly around it and lens around and look really cool. I don't reckon they should do that. I reckon they should kill you.
I think it depends how close you get to, because as long as if you get close, you can get close enough to a star that you get dragged out of supercruise, but you don't burn up automatically. So the same thing should be about a black hole. You should get close enough that you won't blow up and crush or completely. But if you keep going, it will crush your ship. You should not be able to fly through a black hole in one end and come out the other.
I agree.
Right. Yeah,
Well,
Which
it's
I mean,
not technical. I mean, look at our neutron
Personally, I
stars
think
in the game.
if
Before
you
they,
get close
throw
enough to
them
get
out.
pulled out of Super Cruise, then you're getting too close and you shouldn't be able to escape.
well, yeah, you're already in the gravity well.
Well, no, it depends what point. Don't forget, because as you fly closer to a planet, your speed in supercruise automatically slows down, doesn't it? So obviously, there's a certain point that when you get close to an object of a certain mass, that you get pulled out of supercruise.
Yeah, that's
So
called playing
if
up the
the same
neutron
thing should
star.
work black hole.
If you see the orange, you stay away from the orange. You can fly past it without no trouble. But if you try to fly through that orange as a joke, hey, I can do this, guess what? Those orange are going to knock you out of supercruise, and you're going to take damage.
Yeah, I think you should. I think there should be an area that you should get so close to a black hole it'll drag you out of supercruise. And if you carry on flying towards it, it's going to kill you. But at the moment, people have so much fun flying into them. I think they've never bothered changing the maths so that they can just play with the lensing effect. And people like to look at the pretty picture, because I think at one time you could fly into a black hole one end and come out the other.
You can still do that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
let
that's
let them enjoy the pretty pictures.
Yeah, sure. I mean, at some point,
I mean, they do. We do have black holes of different masses within the game.
Yes, we do.
So I think there should be areas that, and they should be able to alter it so to a certain extent to say if that black hole is a certain mass, because there isn't that many really big black holes, because like the film Interstellar, that was a super massive black hole, although they did actually say they also cheated the effects of another black hole as well.
Interstellar was a ridiculous movie on so many levels, though. For one thing, why would they think that a planet orbiting a black hole was a good candidate for a habitable planet?
I think it was the lesser of two evils. I think it was definitely the lesser of two evils. Although the interesting thing is that the people that modelled the computer-generated model for the supermassive black hole did actually manage to publish a scientific paper because they found out something by doing the modelling and the effect. Well, that gives. I think one of these actually works. They actually did the maths and actually published and said yes, and they actually got a scientific paper published on the theory of massive black holes.
Except the fact that there's like magic land inside of the black hole, according to the movie, and somehow he's the ghost that draws little lines in the dirt and clues his daughter into some bullshit magic
Well, that's
wizard mustache twitchery.
Yeah, but that's the
Come
guy.
on, it's a movie.
Yeah, but I know.
Let it go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
that's
if you're going to make a science fiction movie, you need to be at least somewhat accurate. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just,
But at what point?
There's
I know, but
just-
don't forget, if you can create don't forget they got there by going through a wormhole, so which wasn't a natural phenomenon. It was a generated, constructed wormhole by somebody who I'm presuming is the humans in the future. So obviously, if they can generate this and put it back in time, the idea of being able to manipulate the effect of gravity at the centre of a black hole shouldn't be that much of a difficult thing to do. Especially if they're living in 5-dimensional space, as they said. I mean,
they never said that.
well, yeah,
There was no point in the movie where they were talking about we live in 5-dimensional space. It didn't happen.
Well, no, they reckon that the people that created he went to go and he met in the centre of the black hole were people that were trying to do it, and they were living in 5-dimensional space or 4-dimensional.
Yeah,
four or
that's
five, I
the
can't
third
remember.
dimensional, and when the daughter realized that the so-called person in the bookshop, because they're dead, that they didn't give that away till the very end of the movie.
Which is
But the
really
whole
stupid
logical
because
chain tying it all together was really screwed. That's what
I
I'm
mean-
just. That's all I'm saying. You know, it's just like in a science fiction movie, you only have one or two gimmies, and the rest have to be kind of nailed down hard and fast. You know what I mean?
yeah, they did fall apart a little bit. It was the whole thing. The film was very long, and they could have. You got the impression that maybe they found a nice quick shortcut. Let's do this, this, and this, and we can finish the film, rather than if we do this and get it done right and keep the science in right. But the film will be so much longer, and they went no. I mean, it was 2.5 hours, 3 hours long.
By the way, I approve of the room avatar.
Yes, I totally agree. I love her. She's so wonderful. Watching downs.
What? The what?
It's
What
gone
avatar?
already.
Put it this way, Jingle Bells. Did you watch the Jingle Bells on our last radio show, the Jingle Bell Rock?
I think
Funny
he's talking
thing, that's
about
one of her
titties
big money
bouncing.
makers right now, because people are actually paying to see that and download it.
What's it's a bouncing?
Somebody's tits, I think he's talking about.
Well, I guess that, yeah. Well, what else do you want to watch my? There's no way. I really hope it's not Pat Bloke's balls. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, that would not be good.
Well, it depends on his job. It depends what he likes, but I hope it's not. I don't want that image in my head.
I just, I've seen too many episodes of Rick and Morty to where, one is propositioning the other to lick his balls, and it's just kind of,
Why?
yeah, why?
It brings you back too many images of the film Hot Tub Time Machine, where he loses the bet.
And I'm surprised one Commander Lennon is not on TeamSpeak. He's on Discord, but I just tagged him heading to Niam.
I wonder if one down there in the library, wonder if they're doing any better with finding these alien ships. They found a theory
I
out.
am two jumps to Niam. No aliens. Daniel aliens. I got some cookies and nugs for you.
I got all the way there, and
Get
there's.
yourself a UA, I reckon. I reckon you still need a UA.
I'll pop down to there and see what they say.
User left your channel.
So do they have some kind of game show going on down there?
Noctis
Yeah, that's
took
what the
me a
travel
long
show
time
is.
flying about.
Oh. The sausage baster bar.
Now, earlier, the Driver show was on earlier.
Ah, man, I'm getting hungry.
Saying here, I want these damn aliens to show up so I can go make me a damn sandwich. So I'm not giving up. I'm gonna find these little, and I don't know.
I was flying around for ages yesterday. It took me, and I didn't come across it. When the news hit yesterday night, yeah, I was flying around for ages to try to find one myself, and it didn't happen. But this morning, look at that, it's happened twice. And all I can say is I have a UA on board. I don't know if that makes a difference or not, though.
Huh. Well, it would make
User
sense
joined
that they
your
would be
channel.
more likely to show up around alien technology, their own technology.
Interesting, just pop down there. They're saying that the UAs are in a bubble around Maya, all at a certain distance away from them. And if you leave them alone and look at them, they always point towards Maya.
Okay, next
Maya.
jump, Niam.
Yep, back at that.
Well, here's the funny thing is, like I said, if you kind of look at the community event, we're mining these material to create these spacecraft to go into deep space to look to them. There was a bunch of people, I think it was Reddit or somewhere, where they was yelling about how last year about this time we had that special where Data would talk about how wonderful Elite is, and then some alien third god or whatever it was would hack in, and then he'd come back, oh yes, I love Elite Dangerous, I create Elite Dangerous, and I think they did it 5 times. So there was people okay, these aliens are hacking, where the hell are they? Not even a day later, look, we're all getting interdicted.
Damn it, I got scanned with my UA. I got a $200,000 fine.
Damn it. Oh god.
Bastards.
Actually, that's bad because that's
Yeah,
bounty,
you want to
isn't it?
dump that at ASAP.
It's a
because one of my other
fine at the
followers,
moment. It's a fine
every
at
single
the
time he
moment.
got scanned, it kept going up. And I think he said it was 2 million credit fine because he kept getting scanned. And every single time he got scanned, it went up like crazy. And when he finally got up to 2 million, he's screw this, I'm dumping it. Because then NTC started hunting him for the bounty he had on him.
Yeah, I'm going to sell it now. Hey, look at this. I've actually stopped in a Watt port, and it actually has in the black market a demand for UAs. How about that?
Interesting.
I'm going to sell it 218,000. That
Holy
pays
shit,
up
the
my
next
fine.
one's an anarchy system? Oh man, this is gonna get interesting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the next one is an anarchy
I am going to go
system.
find something to eat. I shall return later.
Cheers, man.
I'm wondering, that's why all this activity's going on out here, because the NIA is an anarchy system.
I say, everyone else down there that said they're all taking UIs with them, and so far the only person I've seen, or I've seen, he was actually carrying not a fragment, a complete alien artifact, a UI, a complete one, not a fragment, which means it started with a free ship.
Yeah, well, I'm carrying a UA. I've just sold it. But yeah, I was carrying a UA, and I've been interdicted twice now.
Fragments are a whole one.
Yeah, but that's what I'm seeing on two other
I don't know what
streamers.
fragment
They
is.
was carrying nothing.
You
They
blew it
was
up.
just heading back to the alien wreck place to see, because someone made the comment, oh, there's something new at the alien wreck. We all got to go to the alien wreck location. And on the way there to where the last one was, they got interdicted.
Now, you go to the third alien wreck, and there, make sure you take an SRV. You can actually pick up UAs on the ground.
And I say, because there are, to get a fragment, which is what you needed for one of the engineers, you basically shoot the UA alien artifact, you shoot it, it blows up into very smaller parts, and you can pick up the parts. They don't destroy your ship.
That. Okay.
But I say,
Well, you can the third. I can tell you the actual place. It's I'll give you the address.
Cool. I'll bookmark it.
There's a net deacon out here? Are you serious? I'm telling it now, there's a net deacon, space station. Man, there's a lot of activities out here.
Oh yeah, I'm at a station, but I can't sell my nav data. And there's no docking port. The only place you can do any shipyard stuff is a station on the ground on one of the planets.
All right, you ready, Iceni? Actually, I'll type it in the chat. It's probably safer.
Yeah.
And there is 39 unexplored. Imagine that.
I'm going to have to go through this book of mine and actually sort out all the proper information that's useful, and then rip out all the other pages and better still start a new one. Because there's so much written in here that some of it is just, well, it's not in any column, it's always written at 90 degrees or 45 degrees, and it's got information written down and names of systems that, without any explanation, what they are.
Yeah, I use bookmarks now.
I know, but I've got all sorts of stuff written down in places where you should go for this, and planets where I got this, and materials for this, and some of them are like names of websites and very well-known books and stuff I should get around to reading and stuff like that.
Okay. I'll keep the text file. It's in the chat now.
Yep, I see it.
Are you serious?
Make sure you take an SRV though to pick up the UAs.
That's pretty close to the same coordinates of the alien city.
Yeah, it's basically, yeah, they're very close to each other.
No, you know the alien settlements, the thing that looks like a large control panel.
Yeah, which I haven't been there yet, but yeah, go on.
The coordinates that it's on that planet are very close to the coordinates that this is on this planet.
It's on the same planet, really?
No, it was on a different planet, but the coordinates of on the planet are pretty close to the same coordinates on the two different planets.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, son of a bitch.
That's crash ship, what, number 3?
User left your
Yeah,
channel.
that's number 3. I can give you the other 2 if you want.
Come on,
Yeah, go
cool
on.
down. God damn it. I had the damn mouse on the wrong screen.
And number 3 is
Come
the only one
on.
that has like a T9 and Conda, and they have bays on the ground. The other 2 don't have. They're just the crash ships. The alien.
Strong warning. As you come up to the Obsidian Orbital, I just got interdicted by Thor Sidewinders in a group. I am running, because I am not dealing with Thor of them.
I'm in an Asper, I'm running away from everything.
Yeah, I finally got my Titan. I'm finally leveled up to my Titan, but I'm
User
not
joined
giving
your
it out.
channel.
Yeah, you should better jump away with that.
Python's awesome.
The cutter's pretty good for that as well. The cutter's so quick. It's quicker than most ships, because you can't be mass locked by anything that's bigger than you, and the only thing that's comparable size to mass lock you is ain't going to be as quick as you.
Yeah, I've got the Hudson trucker running. I wonder if they registered that.
Now, even though you get those coordinates, you watch how hard it is to find the fucker anyway. I've got to say, it's really, I think Frontier have got this so wrong when it comes to how hard it is to find assets that they place on the ground, that I should be able to just look up in my, points of interest or on the planetary map or something. I should be able to go click, select, fly me to it, please. Or at least direct me to it.
God damn it! Oh, I am not dealing with this. Getting introduced again.
And the last one, I don't have the actual coordinates of the ship. You might want to look this up.
Oh crap, I'm running. He's a freaking thorough assault shit running.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, I can see the NTCs are active. I'm on our own private Hudson group, but Jesus, they're all over the place right now.
Yeah, a lot of that's down to being able to see any stuff on the planet is down to the ability of the game to render stuff at a certain altitude.
Yeah, exactly. That's crap.
It's something I'm going to work on, and they're going to have to sort it out eventually, but I think it comes down to their game engine and our graphics card's ability to actually be able to do it.
Nah, look, you know how easy it is to fix? They need to come, when you go to a planetary, the planetary map, on the left-hand side, there's actually a list of POIs on there, and they should list the things on there, unknown signal source, or, just a USS that's on the planet. Because don't tell me that, those crashed, alien things don't give off some sort of radiation that is unknown to us.
It should be able to put up a beacon to a certain coordinates anyway.
Exactly.
You should be able to type in the coordinates and say, I want to go to those positions, give me a nav beacon in that direction, please. Please help me.
There's another option as well. There you go, exactly. But if I have the coordinates, I should be able to type that in and it would go beep, follow this dot.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, that last alien wreck, there's like 2 or 3 broken wing beacons, just everything else. Now, some people assume it probably came from the Type 9 that was torn apart there as well as the other ships. But there was a couple of wing beacons just sitting there on the ground.
Yep, exactly. So why can't you home in on that?
Yeah, I finally got into this Obsidian orbital, but Jesus, man, the NTCs are ridiculous right now.
I think it's something they're going to slowly work on to add, because I think it's something they all know that wants to be there and they'd like to, but I think it's a case they better do it.
Well, I think they need to fix it sooner rather than later, because they're putting all these assets on the ground and people are finding it so frustrating to find. Like yesterday, seriously, a good half hour I was trying to find this thing. Mind you, I was given the wrong coordinates, but even when I had the right coordinates, trying to find them, line yourself up with a particular X, Y and minuses, and then hang on, if I go towards the north, does it increase it, decrease it, which one is X, which one is Y? It was just painful.
Exactly.
We're going to actually fly an aeroplane.
What was it? Just around springtime, you guys not you guys, but the Hudson Orbital actually went out to that one alien wreck. You could see on David's and a couple of the others, they was actually looking at the alien wreck, flying around, but me, Aaron, and a couple others on my stream that teamed up with me. We were there, we could not see the alien wreck, we could not see nobody, but yet on the stream, hey David, we see you bouncing around, you're jumping onto that Type 9. We're looking, all we see is a hell.
Oh, that's poor, isn't it? That's really bad.
I've had instancing problems before where I've actually been in an instance with people that are part of my team and I'm in the wing with them, but as soon as I got on the planet, I can't see them and they're crashing their SRVs into mine and nudging me around and I'm getting the hull damage, but I can't see them.
Yeah, and then taking back,
really
here's another example. When we did that base bash, now me and Bloody, we was teamed up, the couple others were teamed up, but then some reason, oh wait.
Yeah, the thing is to
I
get
had
very
a
rare
cut
to
my
have all that
engine.
number of people
But
in the
as
same
I was
system
saying, so
together.
we was all teamed up. On some of the other dudes, they'll see each other, this, that, and all. And I actually came above everybody in their SRD, hovering above them, kind of like their security station shit, blah, 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 hovering above them, just everything else. And everybody's like seeing me. Bloody was in my incident, and then, like, she
Lennon said
disconnected,
RNG must
couldn't
not
come
like
back
me.
in. A couple of others disconnected on my
tongue sticking
team,
out.
couldn't come back in. But I was right there looking at everybody. I'm like, well, I see them, they see me, what happened?
I mean, I think again, it's only those times when you've got a large number of people wanting to get into the same instance and be in the same room together when the game just doesn't cope, it just can't do it. And the fact that using people winging up together to drag people into the same instance is where it only holds it together and it doesn't do it that well.
It's probably because the system was not designed to support large amounts of players in an instance.
I mean, it'll handle lots of people in the same system, but you won't necessarily see each other. It puts you into different game work universes.
Right. And that was their philosophy in the beginning when they were designing the game. When you think back to Kickstarter days, right?
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it was always going to be a multiplayer.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't going to be a large-scale multiplayer thing. And now, with the obviously the public is more interested in large-scale multiplayer, they're hitting this problem because they designed it to be more small-scale multiplayer.
I mean, they probably didn't run
Game
into
of
problems with
Worms or
5 people.
something. Surely they didn't think to have it only like 3 or 4 people at the time.
Yep. But then 90% of the time, that's all you need. It's only the few occasions when you get large numbers of people together and they want to do as a group, say attack a base or whatever, when you have to manipulate the system to try and drag other people into the same instance.
Yeah, man, I have problems even bloody winging together, not a whole lot of people, but just 4 people. If I'm not in the same country, like winging up with English people and Americans sometimes is really difficult.
Yeah, there was this Australian guy that I used to play with a lot. In fact, on this very TeamSpeak server, and I couldn't connect him. I was trying to, do a fuel rescue operation because he got stranded in a big dead starfield, unscopable starfield, whatever. And so I was just trying to bring some fuel out to him, and I couldn't even get it in the same instance as him.
Yeah, so it's not right. It doesn't even need big numbers, so they failed even in their original spec of just multiplayer of a handful of people.
Right. So, I mean, there's bugs. But the problem is that we're kind of operating on relatively new technologies. I mean, some of it is relatively old, but the things that we're doing with these things to make them new technologies are kind of unproven.
User joined your channel.
Hello,
So-
winter is here.
It really just
Hi,
comes
Michael.
back to the
Hello.
thing of
Hey, Mark.
when you don't design something to include certain things in the beginning, it gets harder and harder to patch it in the end.
I agree.
Right,
Good
Rift on tonight, I think.
I'm thinking maybe I want to go and get myself an alien artifact. Mind you, I won't be able to fly around with my Asp very long with one of those. It'll blow me up pretty quick.
Just don't get
Do you
scanned,
have-
because like
do
I
you
said,
have
one of
the
my other
engineer that,
followers
is out high as well?
kept getting scanned and got up to 2 million and got blown up for it.
Ouch. What was that about engineers?
Do you have the engineer that is out that way? I'm just trying to find her name for you.
Yeah, there's one at Maya.
Yeah, that one. Do you have her?
Yep.
Apparently she sells, and this is the biggest secret ever, because I
Do you
didn't know
sell
about it.
seashells?
No, she sells she sells cargo racks that are UA proof.
Ooh.
Oh, you stupid asshole.
I did not know that. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I haven't turned on the Rift. It's a silly thing to do one day leaving again. Right.
So which one is it? I can't remember. Which one is it?
I'll tell you how. Yeah, I noticed that. They made most of them female, didn't they?
Yeah, it's a girl, yeah.
Palin.
They're going to make the SJW crowd
Yeah,
happy
Palin. That's her
someday.
name.
You just got a stupid Canadian bitch.
Yeah, the only one I got unlocked is so
can't
far
see
that
Palin.
Todd the
Which one is
Laughter guy. Everybody else is
What's
still
her
locked.
first name?
It just says Professor Palin.
Professor Palin. No, it's a guy. No, it's not a girl. I thought it was a girl.
Oh, there are girls though.
There's a question. Which is better, Palin or Trump?
Good question, actually. I reckon Trump's better. I think he's actually more savvy, business-wise. Palin, yeah, is full of words, but mate, she's not very bright.
I get the impression that Trump is a bit like George Bush Jr., where he talks and drolls and whatever, but you know he's a lot smarter than he really makes out.
Right, he's got to be
he's a lot
putting on a
smarter.
really good act because, for one thing, it's just kind of unimaginable that.
Come on, open.
But this is all rhetoric, though, isn't it? It's all smack talk, isn't it?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, you watch how he turns out. He's going to be a very clever politician. You watch.
I think he already is, but it's interesting to see what he does. I mean, I hope he does well for American states and everyone else's.
I honestly think he will.
If he's a complete idiot, I think he'll be marginalised very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. He'll last one term, or he'll get impeached or something. But yeah. I think he'll do very well.
Well, I think that he's not going to get impeached for a very specific reason. When you have a discrepancy of like 2.5 million votes going one way over, you know, I mean, the whole electoral college system, for example.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take
It's designed to basically
about it
vote
now.
for the public who just voted. So,
just
like,
so annoying.
whenever you have multi-layered voting systems like that, it's just really stupid. The other thing is that
You can't complain about it now. The electoral college system has worked for the Democrats many times as well. So
but it's worked for
really that just
Republicans
sounds like
several
whining.
times as well. I mean, it's just
Exactly. It's
but it's
just
a
how it is.
nonsensical
You can't.
system.
But that's how it is. You just have to work with it. Just accept it. Yeah,
I mean,
that's how it
they've got a
is.
similar system in the UK. You get every little area is entitled to have a single MP, and the majority of those people in an area get that MP, and that MP then goes to the House of Commons. But if the entire population, you put a whole vote, that would necessarily mean that he ends up being they get the large amount of votes, because the votes quite often end up being split, sort of maybe 40-60, but one half of the